Hello, Gun. It's Professor McCartan on overcoming price resistance and objections in sales. Now, imagine you're a salesperson in a showroom and your customer says, "This is too expensive." What happens next in this is what you have to look at. So, if there were no objections in sales, I would tell you that sales would be not challenging and it would not be rewarding in any way, shape, or form because of the fact that you're not having to do anything hard or difficult or using extra skill set, because not everyone can sell, correct? You have to build your salesmanship up and be able to work in that thought process. So when I look at an objection is an objection to a sales process, a signal of some form of unwillingness to buy. Sometimes you will be flat out rejected, and there's nothing you can do about that. But many times, an objection is simply a request for more information. It's important to remember that there's a lot of emotion in the buying process. An objection may mean you haven't yet given that customer the need to reach that trigger point. A big part of being successful in retail sales is being able to read your customer. There's a fine line between being persistent and being pushy, so you need to sense when to move forward or to go back. Asking open-ended questions, probing questions, will offer and most of the time often improve your understanding of your buyer's mindset. Remember previously I've said that you don't go into the doctor and the doctor say, "Here's medication, have a nice day." He asks you probing questions, open-ended questions, how you're feeling, what symptoms you're having, to be able to diagnose and help you. You have to remember that thought process. Doing this well will enable you to figure out the real reason for an objection or why the customer may not be inclined to buy. So let's run through some of those common retail sales objections and how you can identify them and what you can do to overcome them. Now, I look at price resistance. Price resistance is something sometimes started in the beginning. You can obviously see right away they might tell you that they can't afford it, and sometimes it comes out later on and you have to address it over the other objections and things like that. But when you hear a price objection from a customer, it can mean that they haven't seen sufficient value in what you're offering to reach to that tipping point. They needed to justify the cost in their mind, and it's up to you to highlight the benefits. Give them specific examples of how the product will solve a problem. For example, explain that buying the refrigerator with the ice dispenser in the door actually saves energy because you're not opening the freezer as often. If the objection was really over affordability, maybe one could offer a customer a payment plan or store credit or show them some form of less expensive alternative that would solve their problem. Saying "I can get it cheaper online" is a variation of a price objection as well, known as showrooming. I like to share that because you will see that quite oftenly. And looking at the item in a store and then going home to buy it online is what showrooming stands for. Remind the customer that they don't have to pay or wait for shipping. They can take the item home immediately, offer price matching if available at your establishment or whatnot in the retail sense. Now, when it comes to the corporate sense, you have to understand that you have to create value. You cannot say, "Okay, yes, I'll take 10% off, if you want to do business," and things like that, because then you've taken away the value. You've devalued your product. You need to explain to them that you are giving them A, B, C, and D, and that is why the price is where it is at. So don't always concede right away to price as well. Some other objections, sometimes a price objection might be just one factor within a broader objection, or a customer may have other reasons to delay a purchase. It is equally important to be able to identify and encounter these objections. Regarding authority, when a customer tells you that they need to check with a significant other or first determine if it's a real objection, it might be a dollar limit amount or something like that. It's not just an excuse. If they do need to check in, encourage them to bring the other person into the store or let you speak with them directly so you can close that sale. With statements such as, let's see, "I need to take time to think about it." First, use empathy. Acknowledge the objection and comment like, "I understand," or "No problem." Give yourself a moment to read the situation or determine if you can probe for what's really holding them back. You can ask them factors considering maybe some form of offer of, that you might be able to work through or help them with to overcome that objection. A customer may be hesitant because they have had maybe a bad experience with a particular brand or product or service in the past. So you want to apologize for the inconvenience and find out in what way the problem was, or if there was any way that you can make some form of corrective action or ensure them that your product or service won't have that problem. And or maybe it's a newer model or something that necessarily you can suggest that it will serve the purpose and not have that issue that they had before. The most known common objections and the best responses, I will tell you, is role playing, and just when you're working with colleagues and other sales individuals, just role playing helps with overcoming objections, because there are so many different objections that you will see. We're just going over price resistance today, but there are several types of objections out there, and you have to be able to work inside them. Well, this is Professor McCartan on overcoming price resistance and objections in sales. Until next time, take care.